Hi, and good morning. Online people, please confirm my voice is audible or not.
Audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, as part of yesterday's session, we started discussing about Composer. And by using Composer, we created Airflow. And we discussed about Airflow architecture. And we saw one sample DAG. And we triggered this sample DAG with Airflow. So these are all the activities, or these are all the topics we covered as part of our yesterday's session. Now today we'll see few more DAGs and we'll try to understand how we can able to write the DAG. So yesterday just I given you a sample DAG for the understanding purpose. Today we'll try to understand how we need to build the DAG by depending on our requirement. Okay. Yeah, we'll discuss about that error also, Randy. Okay. Okay, so I think some people are still facing the issue. So I came up with some kind of solution, and we applied the solution in some of the people's system. It is working. So we'll discuss about that after a few minutes. Okay. Yep. So today we'll see how we can able to create the DAG, or how we can able to build the DAG by depending on our requirements. Yesterday already we saw one DAG at the high level. So how we need to run the DAG in the Airflow. But today we'll see one example end to end how we need to build the DAG. With that, we can able to get the clear picture how we need to build the DAG by depending on our requirement. With that, we can able to use the DAG as part of our all the examples. Okay. Now just will show you one sample DAG here. Okay, just observe here. So this is the one of the DAG which I am going to use. So by using this DAG, what we are going to do here is, my requirement is, I want to trigger workflow which I created in dataproc cluster. So this is my requirement only. So what is the requirement? I want to create the DAG, and that DAG I want to trigger in the Airflow. And in this DAG, what activity I want to perform? I want to trigger the workflow which I created in the dataproc cluster. Earlier in the previous classes, already we created the dataproc cluster, and within the dataproc, we created one workflow which is having multiple jobs. Now my requirement is, I want to trigger this workflow from Airflow. Earlier, what we have done, we ran the workflow with the help of the dataproc by click on the run button. Otherwise, with the help of the SDK commands also, we can able to trigger the workflow. But as I told you earlier, if we are going to work in the real-time projects for the purpose of triggering the workflows or to trigger the jobs, we are going to use the orchestration tools. Airflow is the one of the orchestration tool. So in the today's session, we'll try to understand by using this orchestration tool or by using the Airflow, how we can able to trigger the workflow which we created as part of our previous classes. Just I'm repeating only, where we created this workflow already. In the dataproc cluster, we created the workflow in the previous classes. Now my requirement is, I want to trigger this workflow in the Airflow, which is nothing but in the orchestration tool. But in the Airflow, whenever you want to trigger any workflows or any jobs, what we have to do first we need to come up with the DAG. What is the DAG? Yesterday we discussed. It's the kind of a Python script. Within the DAG, what we are going to include? We are going to include our tasks information. and we are going to include our schedule information, and we are going to include our dependencies information. All these kind of details we are going to include on top of your DAG, and which is nothing but now I want to trigger this workflow by using the Airflow. But if you want to do this activity, what we need to do here? First, we need to come up with the DAG, which is nothing but we need to come up with the Python script. By using the DAG, I want to trigger my workflow by depending on my requirement. Now, for this use case, we need to understand how we need to build the DAG or how we need to build the Python script. For that, this is the script we are going to use. So this is the DAG we are going to use only. Now I will try to explain what is this DAG, how we need to build the DAG as part of our different examples. What we'll do here is, we are having the so many lines of the code. We'll divide this entire DAG into the 3 sections only. Section 1, section 2, section 3. We'll go one by one. If you see the first part, this we can able to call it as a section 1. In the section 1, what we'll do here is, we are going to import all the required libraries. Just I'm saying that in section 1, we will import all required libraries. What is the meaning of library? As I told you earlier, in the Python already we are having some kind of inbuilt functions only. By using those inbuilt functions, no need to write the code from the scratch level. But if you want to use those kind of inbuilt functions, what we need to do here? We need to import all the required libraries, or we can able to say we need to import all the required providers only. But where we are going to import all these kind of things in the section 1, as part of this DAG code, you can able to think that all these lines are nothing but the section 1. In this section 1, what we are doing here, we are importing our required libraries. Now coming to our requirement, as part of this requirement, what is the operation I want to perform? By using Airflow, I want to connect to my dataproc cluster. In the dataproc cluster, I want to instantiate my workflow. Is it correct or not? What is my requirement? From the Airflow, I want to connect to my dataproc cluster. In the dataproc cluster, I want to instantiate one workflow. That is the activity I want to perform only. Now, to perform this activity, no need to write the code from the scratch level. Already we are having the pre-built functions in the Python or pre-built functions in the Airflow. For that reason, we need to import all those pre-built functions. Now, where we are going to import all those pre-built functions? In the section 1, we are going to import all the pre-built functions. Okay. Now, if you want to understand to perform this activity, what all are the libraries we need to install? Just we can able to Google it only. Just observe here. So I will search like this: Airflow, dataproc providers. So what I'm searching? Airflow, dataproc providers, because by using the Airflow, I want to perform the activities on top of the dataproc. For that reason, I want to see whether already we have any libraries or not to do this operation. So I'm searching like Airflow, dataproc providers. You click on enter. Okay. If you observe here only, so this is the one of the library we are having: Airflow providers.google.cloud.operators.dataproc. So this is the module, or this is the library we are having. Now within this, we are going to have the multiple methods, or we are going to have the multiple functions. For that reason, what we are going to do here is, we need to import this as part of our section 1. If you go to the section 1, see what we are having. Airflow.providers.google.cloud.operator.dataproc. Whatever the module where I am showing you here in the Google, same information we are importing as part of our section 1. So why we are importing this? Very simple. As part of this requirement, I want to connect to dataproc cluster. In the dataproc cluster, I want to instantiate my workflow. For that reason, we need to import this module. How we are going to import the module? Just be given the keyword called as a from keyword. From, we are giving the whole module. But if you observe, within this module, we are having these many classes, and all these are the methods, or all these are the classes we are having within the module. But do we need to import all these classes, or we need to import only specific things? We have to import only specific thing here. Now my requirement is, I want to instantiate the workflow as per my requirement. That's the reason. If you observe here, you see, we are having one of the method or one of the class called as nothing but dataproc instantiate workflow template operator. So this is the one we can able to see. This is for creation. This is for instantiation. Yeah, this is. See, we can able to see dataproc instantiate workflow template operator. This is the operator which we are going to use to achieve our requirement. Now you tell me, this operator is available in which module? This is available in this module. You know everything, but your Python script don't know about all this kind of information. For that reason, in the section 1, we are going to give all these kind of details, and we are saying that from this module, I want to import this operator. That is the information we are going to provide on top of your Python script, where we are performing this operation. In the section 1, we are going to perform this operation. Now, for example, by using the Airflow, you want to perform the activities on top of the BigQuery. Then what we can do? You tell me answer. By using Airflow, I want to do some kind of operations on the BigQuery. Then what we can do? Just search with Airflow BigQuery providers. Once we click on that, if you see here, we are having airflow.providers.google.cloud.operators.bigquery. This is the module we are having for BigQuery to work with the Airflow only. Now within this module, again we can able to see the so many operators. By depending on our requirement, we can able to pick any one of the operator. For example, my requirement is I want to create the empty table. If you observe what we are having. We are having the operator called as a BigQuery create empty table operator. By using this, we can able to create the table. For example, you want to create the external table, then we are going to use the BigQuery create external table operator. But when we need to use all these things, by using Airflow, if you want to perform any kind of activities on top of the BigQuery, then we are going to import this module. From this module, by depending on our requirement, we are going to import our required operator. And this is the way you need to understand first what is the requirement. Then we need to understand which operators we need to import or which modules we need to import. For example, my requirement is by using my DAG or by using Airflow, I want to perform operations on dataproc, and also I want to perform operations on BigQuery. Then what we need to do? By using the same DAG, I want to perform the operations on dataproc and I want to perform the operations on the BigQuery also. Then what we have to do? We need to import one module or we need to import the two modules here. We need to import dataproc module. At the same time, we need to import the BigQuery module also. Now, for example, you are having the one more requirement. By using the same DAG, you want to perform few activities on the GCS, and which is nothing but on top of the cloud storage. You want to create the bucket and you want to upload the file. That is the activity you want to perform in the same DAG. Then what we can do here? Here we need to import the GCS module also. But where we are going to import all these kind of modules, in the section 1, we are going to write the simply from module. After that, we are going to specify import which operator you want to use by depending on your requirement. That information we are going to specify. With that, you can able to import all the required things on top of your section 1. Okay. Now, for example, if you want to see. So I want to see Airflow GCS providers. So why we are coming to Airflow GCS provider? My requirement is with the help of the Airflow, I want to do some activities on the GCS and so now you can able to click on this. So what is the module we are having? Airflow.providers.google.cloud.operators.gcs. By using this module, you can able to perform the activities on top of your GCS buckets or on top of your Google Cloud Storage. And if you want to see here. So all these are the different operators we are having. For example, you want to delete the files. Then which operator we can able to use? GCS delete objects. If you want to list the objects, what's the operator we can able to use? GCS list object. Already we discussed about all these operations by using our SDK commands or by using the console. We did all these operations. Now, if you want, we can able to perform the same operations with the help of the Airflow also. Only very simple thing you need to understand, Andy. Whenever you want to use the Airflow, first we need to understand the requirement. By using this Airflow, what operations you want to perform? You want to perform operations on dataproc, or you want to perform operations on BigQuery, or you want to perform the operations on top of the GCS. We need to understand that. Once we are going to understand that information, we need to take the module and we need to import the required operator. All these operations we are going to perform on top of your section 1. Okay. Any questions on the section 1 up to here? Please ask me. I am only repeating. Yesterday, just I showed you the sample DAG at the high level for understanding what is airflow, what is the DAG and D. But today we'll try to understand all the steps, whatever we are writing on top of your script. I am dividing this whole script as a 3 sections. One is the section 1 and one is the section 2 and one is the section 3. In the section 1, we are importing all our required modules by depending on our requirement. Now coming to section 2, and if you observe here, this part I am calling it as a section 2. This is the part. Now in this part, what we are going to do here is, we are going to define all the variables. And now you tell me, for example, I want to create dataproc jobs, or I want to create dataproc workflows. Just to try to recap our previous classes, Sandy, I want to create the dataproc jobs, or I want to create the dataproc workflow. As part of the previous class, when we are creating the jobs, what are the inputs we given to the commands? If you remember, we given our project ID. Second one, we need to specify the cluster name. You are creating the job, but we need to specify this job you want to run on which cluster. That is the information we need to specify. Other than that, if you are creating the job, we need to specify query information, or we need to specify your file information, which is having queries. So like this, we have to give all this kind of information whenever we are going to create the jobs, or whenever we are going to create the workflows. And now, for example, if you remember in the previous class, we created the 7 jobs to run 7 SQLs. Now, in all these jobs, what we given? We given the project ID. At the same time, we given the cluster information also. For each and every job, we need to provide the project ID and we need to provide the cluster information. But when we are doing all these operations, if you are doing these operations by using the commands, or if you are doing these operations in the dataproc cluster, then you have to give the project ID, then you have to give the cluster. In the same way, if you are going to perform the same operations in the DAG also, what we have to do here? You need to specify the project ID, you need to specify the region, and you need to specify your cluster information. All these are the details we need to provide as part of using your DAG also. And for that reason, just what I'm doing here is, I'm giving the project ID is Qt sample. I'm giving the region is nothing but US Central 1. This is the information I'm giving on top of this DAG ID. Now you try to give the answer. What is the project ID? Can we call it as a variable or not? Yesterday we discussed about the variables in the Python class, and in the Python script, what we can do here, we can able to create the variable. So I can able to say this is the one of the variable. For this variable, what is the value I'm giving? I'm giving the value called as a Qt sample. Second value I'm giving it as a second variable. I'm giving it as a region, and for this I'm giving the value called as a US Central. Like that, as part of running this DAG, whatever the variables are required, we are going to define all such kind of variables as part of your section 2 and D. In the section 1, we are giving all the libraries information. In the section 2, what we are doing here, we are creating the variables by depending on our requirement. At the same time, other than these variables, we are creating the one more variable called as a default arguments. And if you observe, within the default argument, what I'm doing here, I'm given the project ID. I'm assigning this project ID to this one. At the same time, I'm creating the region. This region I'm assigning to this one, and I'm given the start date. Yesterday we discussed about the start date. What is the meaning of start date? From which date onwards you want to run your DAG, or from which day onwards you want to trigger this DAG in the airflow. That is the information we are giving under the start date. Now we are putting all this information into your default underscore args, and this we can able to call it as nothing but list. This default underscore args, we can able to call it as a list. This is one of the input which we need to pass to our DAG object. So what I'm telling here, this is the one of the list argument which we are creating, and in this argument, what we are doing here, we are defining all the variables whatever we defined in the above step. And here we given the project ID, we given the region. Same information again we are repeating as part of your default args. Here we are giving all this information. Other than that, we are given the one more value called as nothing but start date, and we are assigning all this information to your default underscore arguments. Why we are doing this activity is nothing but this default arguments we are going to link with our DAG object. What we are doing here, whatever the default argument list which we are creating, this we are linking with our DAG object. Indirectly, what will happen here is this default args is tie up with DAG object, and DAG object is tie up with multiple tasks, and as part of execution of this task, it will take default arguments whatever we defined. Try to understand the linkage, and the default arguments are linked to your DAG object. DAG objects are linked with the multiple tasks. As part of running the task, what is going to happen? Execution of the task, it will take the all the values which are present in the default underscore argument list. And for example, I am creating a task to trigger my workflow. What I'm doing here, I am creating a task. In that task, what I want to do, I want to trigger my workflow. But if you want to trigger the workflow, what we have to give here? We need to give the project ID and we need to provide the region. These two are the arguments we need to pass if you want to trigger your workflow. But instead of giving the project ID and region at the task level, what I'm doing here, I am giving this information at the DAG object level, which is nothing but I am creating task 1 and I'm creating task 2. This is for to trigger my second workflow. And for this also, I need to give the project ID and region. In the same way, I am going to create the task 3 and to trigger third workflow. And for this workflow also, I need to give the project ID and regions. And now actually, I want to create the 3 different tasks. In all the 3 different tasks, I want to run the 3 different workflows only. But for every task, we need to specify the project ID and region. Task 2, project ID region. Task 3, project ID region. Like that, for each and every task, we have to give this kind of information. But instead of giving the same information multiple times, what I'm doing here, I am putting all this information into my default underscore aux and this default underscore aux is tying with the DAG object. This DAG object is tying with the all the tasks. With that, what will happen? Whenever task 1 is going to trigger, it will check what all are the default arguments we are having in the DAG object. With that, automatically it will take all the values and indirectly here, instead of giving project ID and region 3 number of times in the code, I am giving it single time by using default underscore aux. Try to understand this information, and instead of giving the project ID and region 3 number of times as part of our example, what I'm doing here, I am giving all these values only one time. But where I'm giving all these values here, I am putting all these values into your default underscore arguments, and which is nothing but as part of your DAG. If task 1 is going to run, what it will do here, it will go to the respective DAG object. In the DAG object, we are going to have the default arguments information. From there, it will pick the project ID. From there, it will pick the region. In the same way, what about the task 2? As part of running the task 2, again, it will go to the DAG object. In the DAG object, we are having the default underscore arguments. From there, it will pick all the required values as part of running our task 2 only. Like that, whatever the task we are running, each and every task is going to link with the DAG object. DAG object is going to link with the default underscore arguments. With that, it will pick all the required values as part of running our task. For that reason, here we are given the information for our default underscore arguments. And if you observe here, in this section, so this is not a section, all these are comes under our section 2 only. In the section 2, first what we did, we given the normal variables. After that, we define the default arguments. After that, now I am creating a DAG object by using the keyword called as nothing but with models.and. Here, models is nothing but one of the airflow module. In this module only, we can able to see the operator called as a DAG operator. Models is nothing but one of the airflow module. In this module, we are having the operator called as a DAG operator. As part of this whole program, I want to create the DAG object. If you want to create the DAG object, we need to use the operator called as a DAG operator. This DAG operator is available in the module called as a models module. For that reason, just we are giving it as a with models.dag. Within this, we are giving all the required information. If you observe, what is the first argument? If you remember yesterday, we discussed already this one. What is the first argument we are giving here? This is our DAG name, and yesterday I told you already, don't get the confusion. Script name is different and DAG name is different. Here we are given the DAG name is nothing but use case 3 underscore workflow, some name I'm giving here. This is my DAG name. What is the script name? Script name is nothing but dataproc workflow, no parameter. That is my script name, and the script name is different and DAG name is different. As part of creation of the DAG, what I'm giving here? I am giving the DAG name. After that, if you observe, what I'm giving one more parameter or one more variable, default underscore arguments is equal to default underscore arguments. And earlier I told you our DAG is having the type with what? With the default underscore arguments. For that reason, as part of creation of the DAG object, I am linking the default arguments to our default arguments variable. So as indirectly, this default underscore arguments we are linking with our DAG object. Other than these two things, what is the one more thing we are giving here? We are given the schedule interval information. You want to run it daily basis, or you want to run it weekly basis, or you want to run it on the monthly basis. All that information we are giving as part of our schedule interval. Indirectly, I can able to say all these operations we are performing on top of your section 2. In the simple words, if you want to understand, in the section 2, we need to define required variables. After that, we need to provide all the required variables into your default argument list. After that, we need to create the DAG object. Within the DAG object, we need to provide the DAG name, and we need to provide the default arguments, and we need to provide the schedule interval. All these are the activities we are performing on top of your section 2. Just I'm repeating. Section 1, we are defining all the required libraries. In the section 2, we are defining the variables. At the same time, we are creating our DAG object by depending on our requirement. Okay. Any questions up to here? Please ask me. So please try to understand each and every line, whatever we are discussing here, and because if you are going to write the 100 DAGs or 200 DAGs in the real time also, obviously we are going to see the same kind of code, and section 1, section 2, section 3. Section 1, you are going to see all the libraries, whatever we are using. Section 2, we are going to see all the variables which we are using for our individual tasks, and after that, we can able to see the DAG object. That is the information we are having in the section 2. Now, for example, I want to work with the BigQuery by using the Airflow. What we need to do? You need to create the one more DAG. In that DAG, we need to import the required libraries. After that, again, you have to define the variables. You need to create the DAG object. Or for example, you want to create the one more DAG with the GCS. There also what we will do? We need to import the libraries. We need to define the variables, and we need to create the DAG object. For that reason, if you can able to understand all these steps, and with this knowledge, easily you can able to create any kind of DAG by connecting any kind of GCP service by depending on our requirement. That's the reason. If you have any kind of questions on this code, please ask me here.
Sir, if I want to work with BigQuery or GCS, why I have to create one more DAG object? We are already importing the relevant libraries, right? With the same DAG object, can't we work, sir?
Yeah, see, for example, my requirement is like this, Andy. My requirement is, for example, your requirement is within the same DAG, I want to trigger the jobs for dataproc and BigQuery and GCS. For example, just assume that you are loading into a target table. As part of loading the data into the target table as per the requirement, here you want to use the dataproc and you want to use the BigQuery, and also you want to use the GCS. For that reason, what we are doing here, I will create a DAG. In this DAG, I will import dataproc libraries, I will import BigQuery libraries, and I will import the GCS libraries, because for this target table in this DAG, I am having the requirement to deal with the dataproc and BigQuery and GCS. And now, for example, I will take the one more requirement. Now, in this requirement, I want to load the data into target table 2, for example. But as part of loading the data into the target table 2 here, I am not having any requirement to connect with the dataproc cluster. I want to connect only the BigQuery, and I want to connect with only the GCS. And that is the requirement of your target table 2. As part of target table 2, we need to deal with only BigQuery, and we need to deal with only the GCS service. In the situation, what I will do here, I will create a separate DAG. But in that DAG, do we need to import the dataproc libraries? It's not required, because as part of this DAG or as part of this requirement, there is no requirement to deal with the dataproc. And for the reason, we won't import the dataproc libraries here. We will import only the BQ libraries, and we are going to import the only GCS libraries. For that reason, we are going to create a separate DAG. In that DAG, we are going to import only the required libraries by depending on our requirement. Okay. Now, in the same way, for example, I want to load data into target table 3. Now, for this table requirement is, I want to connect to only GCS as per the requirement. So what I will do here, for this table 3, I will create the one more DAG and but in that DAG, I will import the libraries for only the GCS, which is nothing but, if you see all these examples, what we need to understand? First, we need to understand to load the data into the target table, what is your requirement? As per the requirement, which services you want to use. Based on that, we are importing the required libraries into your section 1 under the DAG. And you tell me, for each and every table, we are going to use the same DAG or we are going to use the different DAGs? For different tables, we are going to use same DAG or different DAGs.
Different DAGs we have
Here
to
I can
use.
able to say, here I can able to say, sometimes to load data into multiple tables, we will use same DAG. And I can able to say one more thing. Sometimes to load data into multiple tables, we will go with different DAGs also. That is by depending on the requirements only. Sometimes we are going to load the data into multiple tables in the same DAG. Sometimes we are going to load the data into the multiple tables by using the different DAGs also. Just to try to recap our use case 2 or use case 3 only. In the use case 2, what we have done, or in the use case 3 also, we loaded the data into the customer underscore elbow table. After that, customer underscore NY table and salesman table and orders table. Finally, we loaded the data into the result summary table. So this is the way we loaded the data as part of our use case 3 and D. So for this, what I will do here, I will create a single DAG. In the single DAG, I will load data into the CZ zone and also I will load the data into the semantic zone. Okay. Now in the same way, for example, I am having the requirement to load data into one more table called as a result underscore summary 2 table. I want to load data into result underscore summary 2 table. For this table, my confirm zone tables are X table, Y table, Z table, and A table, and B table. Now tell me, to load the data into this use case, are we going to use the same DAG or we are going to create the separate DAG here? We are going to create the separate DAG because here my semantic zone table is different, and for this table we are going to use the different source tables. And for that reason, to handle this use case, I will create a separate DAG. But in this DAG, if you observe here, we are loading the data for X table, Y table, Z table, A table, and B table, and also we are loading the data into the result summary table. That's the reason I'm giving the statement. By depending on the requirement, we are loading the data into multiple tables by using the same DAG, or we are going to load the data into the different tables by using the different DAGs also by depending on our requirement or by depending on our convenience. At the same time, as part of creation of the DAG, we need to understand what services you want to use as per the use case. Based on that, we need to import the required libraries into that DAG. All these are things we need to understand as part of creation of the DAGs. Okay. Any questions?
Sir,
any further questions? Yeah, please.
Consider we are going to run dataproc job now. We are going to run our dataproc cluster job, what we have done in use case 3. But my final output is in that job, I am uploading a table in GCS bucket. It is creating that in GCS bucket only, no, sir?
Yes, correct.
So I have to import all the things required for GCS also here. I am working only on imported as of now only dataproc related libraries, but internally the dataproc is connecting with GCS. Okay, yes. So do I need to import the libraries relevant for GCS also?
No, it's not required because as part of that, as part of the use case 3, what we are doing here, you are creating the table as part of creation of the table query. You are giving the path for the GCS bucket only. But as part of the DAG, in the DAG, I'm saying in this code, do we need to create the bucket separately? No, right? And in this code, do I need to upload any file separately? No, right? All those operations are happening automatically with the help of your dataproc commands or with the help of your dataproc operator. For that reason, no need to import any separate GCS libraries as part of the use case 3 requirement.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions up to here on the section 1 and section 2?
That's fine. Work hard, make money, and enjoy your single life in peace.
Your voice is breaking, Andy. Your voice is not clear. Can you please repeat the question?
Being with the wrong partner. Life is too short to be wasting your time with the wrong partner. If you can't find true love, work hard, make money, and enjoy your single life in peace. Nobody has ever died from being single, but so many have died.
Okay. So any other questions? I think he enabled So someone unmuted himself, Andy. So his voice is not clear. Any offline people, any questions so far? Okay. Online people, any other questions so far? See, I don't want to complicate the things, Andy. I am given a lot of explanation, but try to understand in the simplified way. At the high level, we can able to say in the section 1, we are importing all the required libraries. In the section 2, we are going to create the required variables. At the same time, we are creating the required DAG object. This is the way within 2-3 minutes also I can able to give the explanation, but try to understand in detail. With that, what will happen easily, you can able to write any kind of DAG with your own hands. Okay, so this is the section 2. Now section 3 is very simple, Andy. In the section 3, what we are going to do here is just we are going to create the required task. Now as part of this example, what I'm telling here, I want to create one workflow. I want to trigger the workflow. Only one task I want to perform as part of this DAG, Andy. For that reason, how many DAGs I'm creating here? I'm creating the only one DAG. So if you want to create the DAG, just if you want to create the task, we need to give the task name. Again, if you observe, what we can able to call workflow underscore job is a variable actually, but in the section 3 indirectly we can able to call it as nothing but we are creating the task, and it's a variable only, but indirectly we are calling it as we are creating it as a task. Now as part of this task, what operation I want to perform? I want to instantiate my workflow template. For that reason, here we are using the operator called as a dataproc instantiate workflow template operator. That is the operator we are using to instantiate the workflow. For that reason, I am using this operator as part of my task, and we need to give the open bracket and we need to give the closure bracket. Within that, we need to pass the arguments, Andy. For this operator, what arguments we are giving here? We are given one argument called as a task ID, which is nothing but by using the task ID, it is going to take the task name, Andy. Now you try to give the answer. What is the difference between the DAG name and task name? Here I am calling this is my DAG name. Here I am calling this is my task name. What is the difference between the DAG name and task name?
A collection of tasks can be a DAG, sir.
Within the DAG, we are having task. And if you remember yesterday in the Airflow window, first what we are going to see, we are going to see the DAG or we are going to see the DAG task. In the Airflow window, first we are going to see the DAG name. After that, once we click on it, then what will happen? It will open the task. It will open task. Now within the task, we can able to see our task names. Okay, so this is the flow, and we are having the DAG. So in the front end window, first we are going to see the DAG name. Within the DAG, we are going to have the multiple tasks, and you need to understand which task is for what. For that reason, here we are going to define the task name. How we are going to define the task name? By using the keyword called as nothing but task ID. With the help of the task ID, we are going to define the task name. After that, what is the purpose of this operator? To instantiate the workflow. If you want to instantiate the workflow, what need to happen? In your dataproc, already you need to have one workflow, and then only what we can do here, you can able to instantiate the workflow. For that reason, you need to create the workflow in the dataproc cluster. How we can able to give the workflow name? By using the keyword called as a template underscore ID. This is the keyword we are using for the purpose of giving my workflow name, and so this is the workflow we need to create in the dataproc cluster. Then by using the Airflow DAG, I want to instantiate the workflow. For that reason, here we are given the keyword called as a template underscore ID keyword. For this keyword, what is the value we are assigning? We are assigning the value for the workflow name, which is nothing but this is the workflow we need to create in the dataproc cluster. Whatever the name you given in the dataproc cluster, same name we need to pass here, and this is the way simply we can able to create the task. In the first DAG, we'll try to work on the one task, and with that, in the next example, we'll try to understand how we can able to create the multiple tasks here. And one more thing you need to understand, what are the things we are covering as part of this whole DAG here. Section 1, importing the libraries. Section 2, creating the variables, at the same time defining the DAG object. After that, in the section 3, we are going to define all the task information. In this example, I want to deal with the only single task. For that reason, I am creating only the one task on top of this entire DAG. Okay. Any questions again up to here? Please ask me. If no questions, now tell me, I want to trigger this DAG, and to trigger this DAG, what are the prerequisites? You try to give the answer. I want to trigger the DAG. First one, obviously we need to maintain the workflows in dataproc. Because what is the purpose of this DAG here? By using this DAG, I want to instantiate my dataproc workflow. If you want to instantiate the dataproc workflow, what need to happen? First, your workflow should be available in the dataproc cluster. But if it need to be available, what we need to do here? You need to create dataproc cluster, and within this, you need to create your workflow. But tell me, do we need to perform all these activities again today? Already we discussed about how to create the dataproc cluster. Already you are having the cluster in your account, Sandy. In that cluster, I hope already you created the 2-3 workflows by depending on our previous classes. Workflow 1 without parameters, workflow 2 with parameters. Like that, you created already all the workflows, Sandy. Now just what you can do here, please go to your dataproc cluster. In the dataproc cluster, whatever the workflow which you created, you need to pass that workflow name here. That's it. What you have to do here? You need to open your dataproc cluster. In the dataproc cluster, whatever the workflow name you given, that workflow name you have to pass here, and that is the one change. What else changes we need to perform in this script from your side? Please change your project ID. Qt sample is my project ID, and comment to your side. You need to provide your project ID. This is one change you need to perform. At the same time, you need to provide your workflow name. Whatever the workflow name you are having in your cluster, that is the workflow name we need to pass here. This is one thing. Second thing, what's the next step? My workflow is ready. Dataproc also ready. Next step is nothing but we need to do the required changes in DAG script by passing project ID and by passing workflow name. Just I'm trying to capture all the steps what you need to perform, and first thing, you should have the data workflow in the dataproc cluster, and we need to pick the cluster name, and we need to pick the project ID's information. Those information we are going to apply on top of our DAG script. Whatever the script I'm showing you here, I will share the script to you. In that script, you need to perform these changes, and you need to give the project ID, and you need to provide the workflow name. After that, what's the next step? DAG is ready. Then what's the next step? Yesterday we discussed, right? We need to upload this DAG into GCS bucket. With GCS bucket, for Airflow, we are having default bucket. In that bucket, we need to upload this DAG, and with that, what will happen? Once we are going to upload, after 30 to 45 seconds, we can able to see our DAG in Airflow console. After that, by click on DAG, we can able to see status of the DAG. So these are the steps we need to perform as part of this exercise, and first one, you need to have the workflow within your dataproc cluster. After that, we need to perform the required changes on top of your DAG script. In the DAG script, you have to provide the project ID, and you have to provide the workflow name. These two are the changes we need to perform on top of your DAG script. After that, we need to upload the script into the GCS bucket. After 30 to 45 seconds in the Airflow console, you can able to see your DAG information. You need to click on the DAG. With that, you can able to see the status of the DAG, and all these are the operations we need to perform as part of this whole exercise. Okay. Now tell me, how many of you are having already workflows in the dataproc cluster? First, I want to check this one, whether workflows are ready in your dataproc cluster or not. Because without having this, you cannot able to run the today's DAG, and for that reason, just I'm checking here, your workflows are ready in your dataproc cluster or not. Online people?
For me, no, sir.
Yeah,
I have deleted dataproc
Why
2
you
days
deleted?
ago. So,
What's the reason?
I got some errors. So there I started to recreate it. So
Okay, and so other people, we have
Yeah,
around
me
48
also, sir.
members.
Deleted.
Deleted, very good. Offline people, deleted is available. You deleted. You no.
deleted,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, we'll do one thing, Andy. So I will divide all the people into two categories. First category, who all are having workflows in your dataproc cluster. So for what these people can do here is, I will share DAG code, do required changes, upload into GCS bucket, and verify status in Airflow. So who can able to perform this activity? Who all are having already workflows in the dataproc cluster, either online people or offline people, and who all are having the workflows already in the dataproc cluster. Whatever the workflow which is in the proper state, and you can pick that workflow. That workflow you can able to trigger with the help of our DAG code. I will share this DAG code in few minutes, and with that you can able to perform this operation. Second type of people who all are not having workflows in dataproc cluster. I will help you to create workflow quickly. Okay. After that, you can perform these operations by using DAG. Okay. So hope please check yourself and you are coming in which category. First category, who all are having the workflows in the dataproc cluster. Second category, who all are not having the workflows in the dataproc cluster. If you are falling into the first category, whatever the DAG code which I am going to share with you, please do the required changes in the DAG. You have to change the project ID and you have to change the workflow name. After that, please upload the DAG into the GCS bucket. With that, you can able to see the DAG in the Airflow console. With that, you can able to understand how the DAG is working from the Airflow. That is the first category people. Second category people who all are not having the workflows in the dataproc cluster. Just wait for 2 minutes and I will provide the help to you. Within 5 or 8 minutes, you can able to create all the workflows within your dataproc cluster. Third category, I want to say, who all are facing issues with Airflow environment or with the Composer environment. So this is the third category people, and might be you are having the workflows already, but you are facing the issue on top of the Composer environment or on top of your Airflow environment. Might be you will fall into any one of the category here. We'll go one by one category. Coming to first category, and what I'm doing here is so I send this script in the Telegram group. You can download the script and you can able to do the required changes, and with that you can able to verify this in the Airflow. That is for first category people. Coming to second category people, and who all are not having the dataproc cluster, I will give some steps to you. With that, you can able to create your dataproc cluster, dataproc workflow very fastly. So what I will do here is just observe. And just I want to say one more thing. I came to know that multiple folks or multiple people not created workflows so far by using dataproc cluster. So because of not understanding or because of facing the issues or because of any reason. And one more thing, on the Rocky Day, I taken one important class. Most of the folks are missed in this class, and it might be that is the one more reason people are not created the workflows on the dataproc cluster. Just here my sincere suggestion, next 10 minutes, please focus here, because whatever the topics we covered as part of the last 3-4 sessions on the dataproc, I will try to complete all those topics within the 10 minutes by giving the high level explanation. With that, you can able to create the workflows. With that, you can able to continue the practice on top of the Airflow. Already I told you in the previous class also, Nandi, every class is interlinked here. If you are not understanding the dataproc clusters, you cannot able to perform the activities in the today's session by using the Airflow. That's the reason, just for the people benefit or people convenience, Nandi, if you are stuck in the dataproc workflows, just in the next 10 minutes, please apply complete focus here. I will give all the steps, what activities we need to perform to create the workflows. With that, at least you can able to create the workflows. With that, you can able to perform the practice on top of our Airflow console. Okay, just focus here. Now, first, if you remember the requirement, what's the requirement here? I want to drop the tables, drop the databases. I want to load data into customer LO table. I want to load data into customer underscore NY table. After that, I want to load data into salesman LO table, and I want to load data into salesman NY table. After that, I want to load data into orders table. Then finally, I want to load data into result summary table and in all these tables I want to perform the loading operation. For this, what we have done, if you remember, we created the multiple scripts. So please put your complete focus, whomever stuck in the dataproc workflows or whomever want to do the kind of a recap and so what we have done here, we created these many number of SQL scripts as part of our use case 3. Now indirectly, we need to maintain one scripts folder. In that folder, we need to maintain 7 SQL scripts. This is the step 1. Other than that, if you want to run the use case, we need to maintain the source folder. Within the source folder, we need to maintain the total 5 JSON files. Okay, we need to maintain the scripts and we need to maintain the source folder. Within the source folder, we have to maintain all the JSON files. And now, where we have to maintain all these things? In your GCP bucket, you have to maintain all these things. And now, what I have done here is I created one folder like this. If you observe, see, this is the one of the folder which I created. Use case 3 workflow without parameters. And this is the example I'm telling about the without parameters. In this, if you see what I'm having the scripts folder. I created all the scripts for you only. So I created all the scripts and I copied all the things into the scripts folder. After that, we are having the source folder. In the source folder, we are having all the JSON files. What I will do here is I will send this as a zip file to you. What you can do, please unzip. If you are going to perform the unzip, you are going to have the scripts folder and you are going to have the source folder within your local system. After that, what you can do? Upload this folder into the GCS bucket, upload this folder also into the GCS bucket. With that, all the prerequisites are ready on your GCS side. And in the GCS side, you are uploading all the scripts which are required for the use case. And we are uploading all the source files which are required for the use case 3. After that, what we have to do? We need to create the workflow by using our SDK commands. For example, to perform that operation, I created one file like this. In this file, I given all the commands. And first command what? To specify the region. After that, we are going to add in the workflows. If you want to add the workflow, first we need to create the workflow. Then we need to link our cluster name. After that, we need to create the job for drop. We need to create the job for customer LO table, customer envoy table. Whatever is required commands, and I given all the commands here. Now, just what you have to do, you need to run all these commands from your cloud SDK. With that, what will happen? Within 5 minutes or within 3-4 minutes only, you are ready with your workflow. Any questions up to here, please ask me. That's what I'm telling here is, I will send one zip file to you. In that zip file, you need to perform unzip operation. With that, you are going to have scripts folder and you are going to have the source folder. Once these folders are ready, please upload these 2 folders into your bucket. This is the second step. And upload these 2 folders into your bucket. After that, please run cloud SDK commands, which I shared in the commands file. In the same zip file, we are having the commands.txt file only. So by using that commands, what you can do here, you can able to run all the commands. With that, you can able to create the workflow. Once workflow is ready, then what you can do here, if you want, you can instantiate workflow from same SDK. After that, if everything working fine, then you start work on DAG. Because if you want to work on the DAG, obviously you need to have the workflow. Without having the workflow, you cannot able to perform any operations on the Airflow only. For that reason, I am saying that workflow should be available. If workflow is already available in your system, no need to perform all these activities only. But if workflows are not available, or if you are facing any kind of issues on the workflow, to handle that, just I'm giving this kind of support to those kind of people. Please perform these operations only. If you are not going to do these operations also, I won't able to help you. So for your convenience, I created the script folder, I created the source folder, I created all the commands in the test file and I am sharing all this information. After sharing all this information also, if you cannot able to perform the activity or if you are not doing the activity, I cannot able to help you people. And for that reason, please perform all these activities once I'm going to share the zip file. Okay, just wait for 1 minute. Okay, send the zip file to your Telegram group, and I'm putting all these steps also. Please perform all these steps, whomever not having the things. Okay, and one more last thing, and please observe here. As part of these commands, do you need to perform any kind of changes? Obviously, you have to perform few changes. And what are those? First thing, you need to provide your cluster name. Don't give the same name and don't ping this or I'm getting the error. And so please do the minimal changes, or please try to understand minimally what we are doing as part of the command. So first thing, you have to change your this cluster name. That is the one thing. Second thing, if you observe here, I given the bucket name as my bucket name. Within this bucket, I created the use case 3 workflow no parameters folder. In that, I am having the scripts folder. For that reason, I am giving this path. And if you want, in the bucket side also, please follow the same kind of folder structure. With that, you can able to perform all the activities. These are the minor things. And please take care of these minor things from your side. Please check your cluster name is correct or not. Please verify your bucket name is correct or not. Please verify folder name is correct or not. With that, please try to create the workflows on top of your dataproc cluster. But tell me one more thing. If you want to perform all these activities, again, what's the one more prerequisite? Please create the dataproc cluster. If it is stopped or if it is deleted, please create the cluster. After that, please perform all these activities. So beyond this, if you are expecting any kind of support from my side, please let me know. I am trying to provide at max support from my end by putting all this information. Beyond this, if you are expecting any kind of support and to run the use cases, please let me know.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, already in my bucket, scripts are there. So only need to change that, what is that, dataproc workflow template only, sir. In that, do we need to provide again that whatever you have said, use case, no params folder also, sir?
No, if you are already having the scripts in the scripts folder, you can use the same path. See, actually what's happening is some people are facing the issue as part of the scripts also, Nandi. They are missing the columns, they are giving the wrong keywords. Because of that reason, some people are getting the errors. For that reason, I consolidated all the scripts into the scripts folder and I shared that with you. Now, for example, already you are having the scripts folder, you are confident on your scripts, then what you can do here, you can able to use your scripts only. No need to go with my scripts.
Okay, sir. In that my scripts, in all scripts, there is no params, no, sir. No, is it okay, sir?
Yes, okay, Nandi. So whatever the use case we're discussing, this is without parameters only.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So just I'm asking the same question one more time, Andy. Beyond this, if you are expecting any kind of support from my side to complete use cases and to understand dataproc and to understand Airflow, please let me know. Definitely, I will try to provide the support, because here the main important thing is not the explanation from my side. And you have to complete all the practicals and all the use cases. Then only there is the meaning of discussing all these topics. Otherwise, there is no meaning of discussing all these things.
Sir, in DAG file, we need to give it cluster name or template name, sir?
No, those are not required, because what we are doing by using the DAG, we are triggering the workflow. As part of creation of the workflow, what we have done, we added the jobs and everything, right? As part of adding the jobs, already we given the cluster names and everything. That's the reason, as part of this DAG, no need to provide the cluster names and all the things, because your cluster name is already available within your workflow, whatever the name you are giving the workflow, right? In that workflow, already we added the jobs. In that jobs, already we given the cluster name. That's the reason in that DAG, no need to specify the cluster name separately.
You said in the DAG file, once you open the DAG file.
Yeah,
in this template ID, in last one.
Yeah, this is the workflow name. This is not the DAG. This is not the cluster name. In the
Yeah.
template ID, you have to provide your workflow name. Whatever the workflow you are having in your cluster, that workflow name we need to pass under the template ID.
Okay, thank you.
This is one change. Another change is under the project ID. These two are the changes we need to perform. Okay.
We are following the third category, sir. Testing increases.
Sorry. Your voice is not clear. Can you please repeat the question?
We are following the third category, sir. Means but in the composer we are getting errors.
Yeah, that's the third category. We are going to discuss about that in 1 minute. So before that, just I want to complete this one. Just wait for 1 minute. We'll discuss about that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now we'll discuss about the third category people. So third category people is nothing but who all are facing issue with the Airflow environment and who all are facing issue with the composer environment. And so for these people, what you have to do here is Solution 1. I will give few commands to you. Please run these commands in G-Cloud shell, not Cloud SDK only. So please understand the statement. So where you have to run this, you need to run these commands from your G-Cloud shell. In the G-Cloud shell, please run the commands, whatever the commands which I am going to share with you. This is the first one. Sorry? Earlier, okay. Okay. Yeah, it's working on. So if your cluster is showing, you can do one thing, just trigger one workflow from your cluster, verify whether it is running or not. If it is running, you can use the same workflow. Is it clear? You are saying that in the cluster, it is showing some workflows, right? Just run one workflow within the cluster only. With that, you can able to understand whether the workflow is working properly or not. Then you can use that workflow within our DAG. Okay. Okay. So these are the commands you need to trigger on the G-Cloud console and the G-Cloud shell. How to open the G-Cloud shell?
Console.
To open the console, within the console on the top right side corner, you can able to see the option called as a Cloud Shell and please open that. So with that, we can able to perform this operation. But as part of running these two commands, and what you have to do here is, here you need to change your project ID. So this project ID, from where we can able to get it? Please go to the console. In the console, you can able to see your project ID. So please take the project ID number or project number ID. That number you need to change here. In how many places we have to change? This is the command 1 and this is the command 2. In the command 1, 2 places we have to change this number. In the command 2 also we have to change this number at the 2 places and don't run both the commands at a time. Again, just I'm repeating the statement. This is the command 1 and this is the command 2. In the command 1, you have to change your project number 2 times. In the command 2, you have to change the project number 2 times. And with that, you need to run both the commands from your G-Cloud shell. Okay. After that, step 2 is open your IAM console. So how to open the IAM console is, just give it as a console.cloud.google.com. If you want to see project number, here we can able to get the project number only. So once we are given the console.cloud.google number, here we can able to get the project number. Blindly don't take this number. Verify your project name is selected or not. Once your project name is correct, then only please take this project number. That number you can able to replace as part of our previous commands. Okay. After that, once you log in here, please give IAM. Here, please give the IAM and click on IAM and admin and please click on this. Okay, so once you given the IAM, you can able to see the console like this and in this console, you can able to see the 2 principles here. One is your mail ID and another one is nothing but with your project number, it is displaying the one more name here. What you have to do here is, right side, you can able to see the edit button. Please click on that. It's very simple operation. Just click on the edit button. After that, you need to click on the add another role. Click on add another role. Then please search for composer and worker. Just I will type the steps here. Open Cloud Console. After that, search with IAM and open IAM service. So there you can see 2 principles. Click on edit button, right side corner. And after that, click on add role and search with composer worker. Please search with composer worker. So this is the operation I'm doing only. So once you click on the edit button, this is the edit button. Click on this. After that, click on add another role. Here we need to search with composer worker. Select this and click on save button. After that, click on save button. For me, it's not required, so I'm not clicking on the save. But for you, whomever is facing the issue on the search with composer worker, select composer worker role, then click on save and repeat same operation for next principle also. Actually, if you observe here we are having the two principles study. This is the first one, this is the second one. For both the things, we have to perform the same operation. For the second one also, please click on this edit button and click on add another role. Here you can able to give it as a composer worker again. Select the role. Click on save button. So with that, what we are doing here, we are adding a separate role on top of your both the principles in the IAM page only. So first step is nothing but you need to run these two commands by changing your project number. Next step is nothing but you need to go to the IAM console. In the IAM console, we are adding few roles only. After that, in the step 3, create composer environment as we discussed yesterday. Compose environment as we discussed yesterday, and you have to take the composer 2 and you need to click on the create and next button, give the name. After that, select the small. With that, click on the create option. With that, what will happen, you can able to create the composer. Now just what I want to let you know here is small note here, and after performing all these steps also, if you are facing issues with composer environment in your account, you cannot able to create composer environment. So then what we have to do? No other option, Andy. So here only your network will come into the picture. Networking is nothing but what's the meaning of networking? Your friends who all are present in our class. So what you can do here? Please take their account details and do practice on Airflow. See, it's not a mistake from my side, it's not a mistake from the quality third side, and within the GCP only there is a bug. Because of that reason, some people are unable to create the composer environment. Don't think that so quality that people not creating the environment on top of the composer. Might be people do that kind of comments also. That's the reason. Just I'm giving the heads up, and so actually yesterday I gone through all the options how we can able to resolve this issue. With these options, we resolve the issues for 3-4 people, and but out of those 3-4 people, for 2 people it worked, and for 2 people still they were getting the issues. That's the reason. When I verified that, so in the Google also, in the Stack also, I observed that most of the people are facing this kind of issue. There is the chances if you can able to perform all these activities, you can able to create the composer environment. After doing all these operations also, still if you are facing the issues, what it means indirectly in your account, you cannot able to create the composer environment. In the situation, please take the account details from your friends, and with that, just 1 or 2 days, use their credentials. With that, do the practice on top of the Airflow. After that, for remaining services, you can able to create with your own account only. Only for composer environment, we are facing this kind of issue. Again, I'm repeating, this is the bug or this is the issue from the GCP side. This is not the issue from my end, or this is not issue from the quality third side. Is it clear? Any confusion on these statements, please ask me here. This is for third category people only. Again, I'm repeating quickly. First step, run these 2 commands by changing your project number. Step 2, go to the IAM console. There, add the required roles. Step 3, please create the composer environment, whatever we discussed as part of our yesterday's session. With that, you can able to create the composer. If it is created, well and good, you can continue the work. Otherwise, please take the help of your friends and take their credentials. With that, you can able to perform the practice on top of the Airflow things. Okay. Just I'm pinging all these steps. Yeah, I'm pinging them. In the Telegram group, I'm pinging all these steps. Okay, just I'm coming back to category 1 people. For example, if you completed one workflow execution by using the DAG, trigger one more workflow with DAG by passing parameters. Actually, if you remember, we created the two workflows only. One workflow without parameterization and second workflow with parameterization. So we created two workflows here. One is with parameterization, and second one is nothing but without parameterization. Whatever the sample so far we discussed, that is for without parameterization. But if you are having already the workflow with parameterization, please try to trigger this workflow also from the Airflow only. With that, you can able to get some more exposure how we can able to trigger the workflows by using the DAGs.
Sir, after running the Airflow, where I have to check the result summary? I forgot, sir.
Just I'm showing you only. Just 1 second. I need to upload the DAG into the bucket. Just wait 1 second. I will upload and I will show you that. So category 1, category 2, category 3, all the four. If you are facing any kind of issues, please let me know. I will give the support from my end. So from my side, yeah, please.
Yeah, in the category 3, sir. So I'm trying to, I'm running the first command. I'm changing the project ID, and I run that. That is the member not found. The type of error I'm getting, sir. Member is not recognized in the internal or external commands. Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry, 1 minute, sir.
So those commands will raise a kind of a straightforward commands only. So just you have to change the project number and you need to run it properly. It will work.
Sir, where we taken a project number?
From the console. Please give the console.cloud.google.com. There in the console, you can able to see your project number. Okay, if you all the folks are just observe my window for a few seconds. So actually I have uploaded the DAG, whatever I explained in the few minutes back. So once we are going to upload the DAG, what's happening here? It is displaying the DAG name. So this is my DAG name. So once if you want, here only we can able to see the job information. If you see the runs, under the runs, what it is showing it as a success, which is nothing but my job ran properly without having any kind of issues. And if you want to see the details of the DAG, what we can do here, please click on this. Click on the DAG. Once we click on the DAG, here we can able to see the multiple windows like this only. So the first window, whatever it is showing, this we can able to call it as a grid information. Your job status we can able to see in the grid, or we can able to see it in the graphical format also. Today only we uploaded. That's the reason it is showing the only one grid like this only. Now, for example, if same job is running tomorrow and day after tomorrow, then what will happen here? Here we can able to see the multiple lines like this. Indirectly, we can able to see the job status with the help of the grid. Otherwise, if you want to see the job status by using the graph, just we need to click on the graph. Once you click on the graph, see here. Now, what is this? This is the DAG or this is the task? This is the task country. So once you enter into the DAG, what's happening here? Within the DAG, we can able to see the task. But sir, why we are having only one task? Because as part of the first example, we taken the only one task, and for that reason, it is displaying only the one task. Now, for example, if you want to understand what is happening in the backend, or if this task got failed, if you want to understand what is the reason for the failure, and please click on the task. Once you click on the task, here we can able to see the log information. Please click on that. Please click on task. Once you click on the task, on top of that, you can able to see the log button. Please click on the log. Once you click on the log, and here we can able to see all the log details like this. In the log details, you can able to see what is happening in the backend as part of running your job. But in my case, this job is not failed. For that reason, everywhere if you see what's the value we are having, info, only. For example, because of any reason, if your job is going to fail, then what will happen here? It will display message as a error. Instead of info, it will display it as a error. By seeing that error, you can understand that line is talking about the error message. There you can able to understand the error. Accordingly, you can able to take the action item. But in my case, for now, we are not seeing any kind of errors. This is the way you can able to refer the logs as part of running your DAGs. Okay, so last statement from my side only. So please complete composer setup with above commands and complete one workflow DAG execution by using Airflow. Okay, as I told you, if composer environment not creating, please take help of your friends and take their credentials. With that, complete this activity. Okay. And actually, I'm going to cover 4 or 5 different DAGs with the different use cases only. Okay, I will show you how to trigger the jobs. That is one use case. And I will show you how to trigger the BigQuery. That is the one more use case. I will show you for GCS also. That's the one more use case. I will show you the combination of GCS and BigQuery. That is the one more use case only. So all these different use cases we are going to cover by using the different DAGs in the Airflow. With that, what will happen? You can able to get the end-to-end exposure on top of the Airflow. With that, you can able to do your own practice also. But to perform this activity, what's the prerequisite here? Your composer environment should be ready. At least you need to take the credentials of your friends, and with that you have to perform the practice for at least one DAG only. With that, automatically you can able to understand all the remaining use cases, whatever we are going to discuss as part of our classes. For example, if you are facing the issue here itself, what will happen? Then it would be difficult for you to understand about the other use cases. For that reason, my sincere suggestion, please ready with your composer environment. If it is not working, please take help of your friend credentials, and with that try to complete this activity. With that easily we can able to understand about other use cases whatever we are discussing. Okay, now might be some people will use the statement, sir, I don't have any friends in the class. What I need to do? Sir, I don't have any friends in the class, so what I need to do? And for me, composer environment is not creating, then what I need to do? So no other option, Andy, just listen the class. Because you are not having any other options to perform the practical study. For that reason, if you don't have any friends and if you are facing the problems to create the composer environment, from my side, I can't able to provide any kind of support on it. But in the class, I will show you end to end. I will show you all the steps for all the use cases. Just to by seeing, try to understand all the things, and with that, you can able to get the exposure on top of the airflow. Okay, but by doing any one of the activity, try to get the exposure on top of the airflow, because as part of interviews, you will get some questions on the airflow. At the same time, as part of real time also, we are going to work on the airflow. For that reason, try to get knowledge on top of the airflow only. And mostly in next 1 or 2 classes, will cover all use cases by using airflow, and will cover required topics on airflow. So some basic concepts are there, and how to give the variables, how to give the SCOM. So like that, some basic concepts are there on top of the airflow. Those topics and use cases we are going to cover within the next 1 or 2 classes. With that, our airflow topic are also going to complete. Now what I can able to say here is, after completion of airflow topic, if you want, you can upload your resumes for job search if you want. Still we are having some other topics, and it pops up like this. We are having some other topics. Just I'm giving, if anyone is interested. Some people are asking when I can able to upload the resume, and so earlier I told you don't upload the resume immediately, because these are the main topics which we need to complete. So we completed the BigQuery, we completed the SQL concepts, we completed the dataproc, and we are going to complete the airflow in next 1 or 2 classes. And after that, if you are having the interest, what you can do here, you can able to upload the resumes for your job search. And from my side, what I will do here is, I will provide sample resumes in next 1 or 2 days. After that, I will take one session how to prepare resumes for data engineer. But this class, please expect after 5 days only, not immediately. We need to cover few more important topics from my side. First, I need to focus on the main topics, then I will come to this session. But I'm telling that I will share the sample resumes, don't worry about that. And I will take one session to discuss about how to prepare the resumes as a data engineer. With that, you can able to upload the resume, or already if you're having knowledge about how to prepare the resumes and everything only. So what you can do here, after completion of this airflow class, you can able to upload the resumes. And as part of interviews, please focus on BigQuery and airflow and dataproc and GCS and SQL concepts. Okay, so these are going to play very, very important role. Now you tell me, remaining topics are not required. Remaining topics also required, and every topic is important only. But if anyone want to search immediately within 2 days or 3 days onwards, you want to go for the job search, for those people, just I'm given the heads up only. So you can able to upload the resume after completion of our airflow classes, because as part of the interviews, you can able to get 60 to 70% of questions on these topics. Then what about remaining 40% or 30%? Remaining topics also compulsory required if you want to clear the interview study. But those topics we haven't covered so far. In the next 10-15 days, we are going to cover all those remaining topics also. But if anyone is interested to go for the job search, by using these concepts, you can able to upload your resume, and with that, you can able to face the interviews. Okay. Any questions up here on top of this one, please ask me here.
Yes, so for interview preparation, for this, key points, like we have any, we'll get any handout or notes, sir, like
yeah, for interview questions and all those things we'll discuss about at the end of the classes.
No, not the interview questions, sir. So in the, for example, BigQuery key points of key, like how we got for the handouts for the GCS dataproc, like that we'll get for the BigQuery and
yeah, whatever the notes. So
actually we got, right?
If you see the handouts, and no, if you see the handouts, what is the content we are having in the handouts? Any different content compared to the topics we discussed in the class, or any different content compared to the notes we are having in the class? Same thing,
only,
right?
but the key points is present in this.
No, please go through the notes only. So if possible, I will share the handouts also. I'm not saying I'm not going to share the handouts. Okay, I will share the handouts if possible, because I'm creating all these handouts first time only. So I need to cover the topics and I need to do the handouts. It's taking a lot of time. That's the reason for few topics I share the handouts, and for few topics I haven't shared the handouts. But don't depend on the handouts only, because in the handouts, whatever the information we are having, same information we are discussing in the classes. At the same time, same information I already shared in the notes also. That's the reason. Please go through the notes and videos for any topic which I have shared the handouts. If there is any possibility, definitely I will try to share the handouts.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay, no
yes,
problem. Yeah. And with this, just I'm completing the class only. And at 11:45, we don't have any classes only. Today 11:45 we don't have any class. Okay, so you can leave for the day for today, and please complete at least one DAG execution end to end. So with that, tomorrow we'll cover the 3 to 4 use cases in the morning 8:30 session. With that, we can able to wrap up the airflow sessions also. Okay,
Sir, I have few questions, sir, on workflows.
Yeah, please.
In dataproc, we are creating workflows now, sir. Accidentally, if I have created some steps wrongly, means how should I delete a step within a workflow, sir?
Now,
Instead of add job,
from the console, you cannot able to perform that operation. But if you are going to perform these operations from the SDK, we are having the option called as a remove job. By using the remove job, you can able to remove the job. Whatever the job you want to remove, you can able to remove that job.
Oh, okay, sir. Can I delete the workflow, sir? Similarly, from
yeah, you can able to delete the workflow. So simple thing, as I told you on the previous classes.
Okay.
So here, just give it as a G-Cloud dataproc. If you give the G-Cloud dataproc, what will happen is it will give all the available options to you. Just 1 second, it will display the output.
Okay.
Okay, if you see the G-Cloud, by using G-Cloud dataproc, what are the operations we can able to perform? We can able to create the clusters, or we can able to create the workflow templates. Now, whatever the questions we are asking, that is for the workflow template. So you can take this one and give this, click on enter. With this, you can able to see. Sorry, it's my mistake. It's a G-Cloud. Now, with this command, what will happen? You can able to see all the details of your workflow templates. What operations we can able to perform with the help of the workflow templates. Click on enter.
Okay, sir. Another question I have on.
1 second. First, we'll complete this question. Okay, if you see here within the workflow template, what operations we can able to perform? If you want, we can able to perform the create operation, or we can able to perform the delete operation. Coming to your question, if you want to delete the workflow, what we can do here? This is the command we have to give. After that, give the delete, and within the delete, if you don't know what options we need to provide, just click on enter. Once you click on enter, there you can able to see all the options what we need to provide on top of your delete and D. In the same way, if you observe here, we are having the option for removing the job. If you want to remove the job, you have to give it as a remove -job. With that, we can able to remove the particular jobs on top of your workflow. It's a kind of a simply self-learning. And already I showed you all these steps in the previous classes. Like this, you can able to go through each and every command we are having and what are the available options we are having. With that, you can able to perform any operations. Either you can able to create the workflow or delete the workflow or adding the jobs or removing the jobs. All those operations we can able to perform by using all these kind of options. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please continue.
Sir, in real time, we are creating a job like this in Airflow and dataproc and all we are creating now, sir.
Yes.
In real time in the project, what I will be creating, sir, Airflow or dataproc, sir, or both the jobs I have to create?
No, in some projects,
where they will run the job in prod. I will create everything in the dev environment and I will give the scripts for them to run in prod. So do I need to create dataproc jobs? Mainly where will it be, sir, real time?
No, in the real time, in some projects, we need to create the dataproc workflows and we'll trigger those workflows by using the Airflow. That is in some projects only. In some of the projects, what we'll do here is instead of creating the dataproc workflows in the dataproc, we'll create directly by using the Airflow DAG. So we are going to see both the types of scenarios by depending on the type of the project which we are going to work. That's the reason only we are discussing about all these topics in the dataproc and also in the Airflow only. So now you tell me, so once we are going to get the job, can we able to know before joining the company in what kind of projects we are going to work? No, right? But that's the reason I'm saying that in the real time, in some of the projects, we'll create the workflows in the dataproc cluster and we'll trigger those workflows by using the Airflow. In some of the projects, we are going to create all the jobs and everything from the DAG only without using the dataproc. In the dataproc, just will create a cluster, will not create the job, will not create the workflow. All those operations we are going to perform directly by using the DAG. Such kind of projects also we can able to see in the real time. That's the reason I am trying to cover both the things.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, sir. Sir, in the bucket, files are there in the external system, sir. Okay, my script is checking in the external system, the file is existing or not. In order to load the file from the external system to bucket. Okay. But if the file is coming late means how I should handle the situation, sir?
Then you need to create the jobs only. So you need to create the job and that job need to hold that path. It need to wait for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Every 5 seconds, it need to wait for the file. And if file is available, then only we need to trigger the job. So that's the way we can able to create the jobs in the DAG. So in the DAG, we are having that feature. We can able to have a sleep option. So it is going to sleep for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, again, it is going to verify whether file is available or not. If file is available, then only it will run the next job.
Is it kind of a bash operator? I will check, sir. Bash operator.
Yes, and with the help of bash operator.
Thank you so much, sir.
No problem.
Nothing from my side, sir.
No problem.
Sir, sir, one thing, sir. So in the category 3 that composer I'm trying to do in the IM, in the principles I clicked. So here we are seeing the 2 roles, sir. First role I'm selecting the composer worker. So second role also we need to select something or we need
No, you need to select only one thing, only one composer worker. That's it.
Okay. So second one, so default we can give a right.
No, give the first one. So composer, if you're searching with the composer worker, whatever the first one we are getting, please give that one.
No. Now in the assigned roles, we are seeing the 2 role drop downs. So first one I selected as composer.
No, second one. No. Second one, as I told you earlier. So just I'm showing you my screen. If you observe here, if you click on the edit principle.
Okay.
So here you are having the tools, sir. Not these tools. You need to click on the add another role.
Okay. Here, okay. Add another role.
Once you click on the add another role, here you are going to see the only one drop down. I'm not sure why you are seeing the 2 drop downs.
No. So same. Select a role.
He's asking about 2 accounts, sir. We need to add composer worker. That 2 service
not
accounts.
that one. Same one only, sir. Whatever shown this are only. The role I am the 2 drop downs here.
Now in this one here you need to give the composer worker. So once you are searching with the composer worker, here you can able to see only one. So please select that. After that, please click on save. That's it.
We need to add this composer worker to 2 accounts, right, sir?
Yeah, correct. For both the accounts. As I told you, for above account and for below account, for both the accounts, we have to do this operation.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir, I have it out.
Yeah, please.
So, are we covering data, data stream pipelines?
Sorry, come again. Yeah, we are going to cover the PubSub. So in the PubSub, we are going to cover the data streaming operations.
Okay.
See, I'm not saying I didn't inform that our classes are completed. Just I given the heads up to some of the folks, they can able to upload the resume. Don't think that our classes are completed only. Still, we are having the 15 days of classes. In the 15 days of classes, we are going to discuss so many other things also. Data streaming, PubSub, and all these things.
Yeah, right. So, like if we upload even our resume, so they may ask like whether we worked on.
Yeah, definitely they will ask country. So that's the reason. By depending on your, so some of the folks are showing interest to upload the resumes. For them, I'm saying that those people can able to go ahead. So if they're asking the PubSub, then they need to give the answers accordingly. But from my side, I have to cover the PubSub so far. But we are going to cover those topics in the coming classes. If you want to wait for till that time, you can be able to wait. I'm not saying that. I'm not forcing anyone to upload the resume immediately. If you are having interest, please try to upload the resume. That I'm saying.
No. From my side, I'm asking.
No, just a minute. Yeah.
Sir, once the Airflow DAG is running.